Okay. So fantastic, because I'm gonna let you take on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I just see our cover. And I thought that it was my issue. Yeah. Yeah, we are here. Yeah. Sure, don't worry. We thought we were live.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Now you should be able to hear me and you should be able to see us. Okay. Yes, welcome back, everyone. Very, very excited to have you all here. Thank you for waiting patiently for us to take care of the technical difficulties for the stream. My name is VooDoo Val, and I am here with my good friend Kladi. We're very excited to be here designing for you.
Sorry to interrupt you, but looks like they can hear me, but they cannot hear your voice.
I think there's a delay because Sam did send me a message, and I made sure that my mic was working. They might be a little bit behind. Hopefully you can hear us now. We hear you. Okay, perfect.
Let us know. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry for that. But we are here. We're going to be doing another episode of the Design Off, and we are doing a TV show themed episode of this Design Off, where we are basically choosing our favorite TV shows, and we are going to be designing postcards based on fictional places from our favorite shows. So Kladi and I have chosen Stranger Things, and we are going to be sending greetings from interesting places within the show. Alexander says, we know everything. Well, I'm glad. And also welcome, Alexander. Welcome, Sam. Welcome, Jose and Mensa and Julia and Steve. Very, very excited that you folks are here with us in the chat. And again, just in case some things were missed before we jump into sort of the meat of what we are doing today, I would like to take the opportunity to send some love and some positive vibes and prayers out to all of you folks who are being affected by some of the things that are going on in our world today, as well as send love to those of you who maybe not directly connected, but whose hearts and minds may still be heavy, and those of you who are saddened by what is going on in the world. We invite you to hang out with our community here in this positive space, to let us know how you're feeling, and to just interact with people who are also down to spread that love and spread those good vibes to everyone. I believe we may even have in the chat some powerful links to inform those of you who might be interested to learn more about how we can support members of the Black community today, and more information on what the situation is in the world and how you can learn more. And I also, on that note, I want to pass things over to Kladi, because I know Kladi wants to kind of introduce what she's working with today, and I think you also have some powerful links of your own that you may want to share.
Yes. So before I get started, of course, I want to say hi to everyone. I can see so many familiar names. I can see Michelle, and also VooDoo Val. I don't know if you have noticed, but our friend Steve Festus always doubles our live stream with Italian lessons. So now he's pretty much almost fluent. He messages me in Italian, which I find very, very sweet. I love how inclusive and sweet this community is. I feel very honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I can see Julia, Michelle, Malik, Alexander, RB. Thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate that we spend this time together. I find it like a very big relief to having the opportunity to share my time here with you. And Val is always like, I feel like I'm in the chat because I'm always watching you. So I'm like,
same,
am I live? Like,
what are we doing?
So someone in the chat, let me go ahead and check. I think it was Jose, if I remember well. Someone in the chat was asking, guess who picked the theme? So we both picked the theme. Jose, we were looking, yeah, Jose Alvarez was asking us. We were just having a conversation regarding what to do, and we realized that we have a lot of things in common, and definitely Stranger Things is a topic that probably applies to what's going on right now.
Oh, yes.
Stranger Times. And to jump into the actual topic here, first of all, I wanted to guide you through my website. You should be able to see my screen here. And if you head to iamkladi.com/resources, as you probably already know, there are a lot of goodies, but the one that we are looking to focus on is the Stranger Things stream, which of course has the Black Lives Matter little icon, little image here. And next to it, you can find a very powerful link that I want to give a shout to Jessica Walsh, because I picked it up from her Instagram page. You can also find it on my Instagram page. And also, I know that Julia Masalska is on her Instagram page, where you have so many powerful links that will allow you to take any action that you think appropriate and allow you to get involved from wherever you are in the world. I definitely stand with the Black community myself, and I'm very happy to be here with Adobe because I know that we are within a very inclusive, happy, sweet community. So let's get started and let's jump in today's stream. And sorry, Val, I'm just going to take one more moment to say that besides this very powerful link, you also have goodies. So in the stream assets, you will be able, if you click on stream assets, again, for those of you just joined, is iamkladi.com/resources, you'll be transported into my Dropbox, which has got a font, free font. That's why I'll be able to share it here, some grunge texture, and of course a starter file. Now, the starter file that you will find here is pretty similar to the one below, which is the logo development template. But in this case, I've adapted for a different kind of design. So I think it'll be useful even to download it both and to see the difference on how to use it on a logo and how to use it on the design. So once you're going to click that open, this is the file that you're going to have. And as you can see, I've have a little bit of placeholder here that reminds us about the important things about life while we stream, of course, within the same color theme of Stranger Things.
Awesome. So I'm very excited to see maybe what the chat creates with us. As I was saying before, I can't remember what we said off stream and what was on stream, but I will reiterate. Everyone is welcome to join in this challenge, in this design off, no matter if you are using different kinds of apps, if you are an illustrator or a painter or a UI UX designer or a hand letterer or whatever it is that you do. We hope that you might take this theme, interpret it to be whatever you wish, and share your work that you create along with us with the hashtag Adobe Live Design Off. I'm going to be checking Twitter and Instagram towards the end of the stream to review and see if anyone has posted any lovely works in progress or finished items for us to review, just so that we can give you folks a shout out, see what you're making, and also kind of highlight and show you that we really appreciate your work and your participation and that you're here and you're hanging out with us. We may also take some pretty interesting ideas from the chat. If you folks have anything you might like to see, we could also incorporate your ideas into our designs. But I'm gonna go with this for the postcard. I think I'd like to do like a greetings from the upside down. You know, like if you were, I don't know why you would be in the upside down, but if you were, this is the postcard that you would send to your friends. I think. So
sounds very fun.
yes.
I have yet no idea what is gonna go through yet in terms of my stream and what is gonna be the final output. Definitely, I'm gonna focus on treatment with Illustrator, and I'm definitely focusing on the beautiful retro vibe, as you can see from the mood board. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit just to dive in. That's definitely something that really, really attracts me in terms of look and feel from the actual show. But what I would love to see as well, like we were saying again, I don't know if it went live or not, but it's worth to reiterate it, is that if you do use different programs, so I'm going to be working pretty much in Illustrator, maybe tomorrow jumping a little bit more into Photoshop. And if you do use XD, InDesign, whatever you feel like expressing yourself with, please do it. Me and Val, we were chatting about this stream and how beautiful it is just to have this time to explore. And on the topic, Val, today, I think it was Amina and Jesus stream. By the way, can someone tell Jesus that I'm streaming, because it keeps ringing me? I just had like 2 missed calls. I'm just trying to mute my phone next to me. But yeah, so during his stream, someone was asking about style and how to develop your own style. And I think that's such a great question, because I think that when you're starting, there is this huge myth about style. And the more I'm moving towards developing my own style, I don't think that style is a thing. I think that like the only thing that I'm really developing is my own way of solving problems. And I just kind of want to, like, tear down the myth of having a style. What do you think, Well?
I think the same thing. I think I believe that style is kind of a collection of I guess learning the basics of your trade, like learning the basics of the discipline that you're interested in. And also finding out more about yourself, like what you like and what is right for you. Because I think with anything when you're looking to do art for a living, first of all, you have to know the rules before you break them. You have to know what things you're passionate about, what you're interested in starting to create. And then you also have to start doing those things to see, well, how do I interpret these points naturally? Because, like, for example, as a painter, I have to learn anatomy. I have to learn things about color and lighting and building atmosphere and all of those things. But the places that I'm learning don't necessarily represent how I am going to do them 100%, because I'm going to have my own interpretation of the world. And I don't know until I combine knowledge and fact with love and passion, how that third thing of like my style and my interpretation of the world and my art is going to turn out. But I think after you get those basics kind of nailed down, or as you start to learn those things and you start to actually use those skills and use those points and do things, the style sort of comes naturally. And it's not necessarily something that you say, I'm gonna, as soon as I do these 3 things, it'll just be here. I would say don't worry about it, and use the knowledge that you have, keep honing that skill and working with that knowledge, and it will come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I think that is just something that you start to achieve with time, and knowledge is an awareness that you start to get with time, by simply doing a lot of exercises. And that's why I love, I'm a fan here of Adobe Live, and I'm always in the chat even when I'm not streaming, because I think that is very important to be here and practice, exactly as you were saying, to understand what you're doing, what you want to do, and start to build in that direction. Now, while we were chatting about, I just want to stress something here. So the font that I'm using is a free font, and that's the font that you're going to find in the folder. For those of you who just shared joined us right now, is iamkladi.com/resources, and is the Black Lives Matter stream folder asset. So this Brian James bolt, I was struggling to find it because it's got like an opti at the beginning. When you're gonna go and look for it in your character panel, is just Brian James.
Gotcha.
So that's the name of the font. I was just like, I was like, wow, how do I do it? But if you feel like having the original font, you also have the option to buy it. I've done a little bit more of research in finding something that is similar and is free, because I think it's a hard time for work for many people. So it's nice to have some free resources. Therefore, it's there for you, and it's pretty similar. Like I think the N, the G, the T, which are the most iconic letter, also the A, are very, very similar. What I've noticed was perhaps the S has got a little bit more of a larger slant, but something that perhaps we can put our lovely InDesign into use to try to mimic the original font.
Totally.
And also you have all these lovely link that I've shared before, where perhaps you can put your money in. So I know the font probably just cost $30-$40, but in this time it's something that maybe if we find a free font, we can spend them money to do something for others.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So I'm gonna start to dive in with the font. I'm really as I said, I'm really focusing on the neon. I'm a big love of retro design.
Same.
So I think that what they achieved with the neon in terms of cinematography effect is really try to get that nerdy 80s vibe of like retro, and it just definitely looked like one of them game arcade place, the entire location. So even in one of the posters, even the use of the fireworks here. And by the way, sorry Val, I just want to give another shout to a dear friend of mine, which is Lisa Carney. She's been on the show before, and if you can actually Google her name, Lisa Carney. I'm just gonna hop into her website real quick.
Oh yeah, please
and
do.
Adobe Live, she's been in Adobe Live, and she actually VooDoo Val, she does like so many amazing finishing for shows like Boys, Room 104. She's done something like Spider-Man. She does Grey's Anatomy. She does very cool stuff. She works with amazing clients.
Amazing.
Today I was on a phone with her and she gave me details, but tomorrow I'll be able to give you more. This is her name, Lisa Carney. This is her website. You can see all her amazing stuff. She's also the one who finished the poster for Stranger Things. She was telling me about how the work is, that involved like 4 people. So she had these images here. I don't know if you can see my screen. She's done the finishing or those official images for Stranger Things, and she was telling me that they had a photo, and then she's done the treatment, and someone else done the illustration on top, and there were like 5 people working on the same photo with different skills. So today she was driving and through the mountains, so tomorrow I'm gonna try to jump on a longer phone call with her, so perhaps I can give you more detail even of the marketing agency that she's worked with, and the amazing illustrator who have also participated with because a lot of this stuff in the poster is actually our Illustrator elements. I love the way that they work together, and Lisa has done all the finishing in terms of highlights and composition. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that if you go onto the Adobe Live, and again maybe just Google Lisa Carney Adobe Live, that's what she's done. She showed exactly how she did the Stranger Things poster. So
oh yeah, I would love to see that.
Definitely super cool, and she's an awesome person. So
yeah, that is so cool that we get to do this, and you actually know people involved with that. That is such a cool thing. So what I'm doing right now, I'm doing a similar thing where I'm just starting to like kind of mess with lookups with the text, and I'm trying to think of like, I love those like old kind of like vintage style postcards, and I love how they always have like the place. Sometimes postcards it's just like an image, I love when it has like big blocky text and then smaller design elements, and it has like some kind of tagline. So I'm playing with the line "Greetings from below," and then I can also do another place with the font that just says the upside down. And I would also like to do, usually I'm doing like illustration, and I think that I will still do some illustration for this, adding some elements and kind of working with some painting towards the end, to add effect and add like more weathering to some of the items in here. But I also would like to incorporate some like photo compositing as well, because I love the idea of kind of doing that, like bringing in that theme from Stranger Things where it shows like the kids riding their bikes like through the town, and then there's like a mirror reverse under that of like the same image but very spooky, or just like spookier things, you know, just like right underneath to kind of give that upside down vibe. So yeah, the top says "Greetings from below," and I'll have all the happy stuff, and then underneath it will say the upside down, and then a scarier version of everything, I think is what I'm gonna do.
Mine is just saying greetings for now. I still have to finalize what I'm doing here, but also I'm trying to do a slight different approach than what I usually do. Usually when I work with text, I jump straight away into outlining it. Well, right now I wanted to try this this technique to create the neon. So I'm just going to focus on the word greetings, and then I'll see where the composition is going to take me. And I wanted to show this amazing technique that allows you to keep the text live. So hopefully it works. As you can see, I've moved. So for example, something like making the initial a little bit bigger, like the actual title here, as you can see in the text example. It's something that I will do when I've already outlined the text. But as you can see, Illustrator gives you the opportunity to change just a few letters in the text while keeping the text live. So for example, if I want to add another letter here, I can still do it. Or if I perhaps want to change the entire word, or if I misspell something, I don't have to start from scratch. Also, just want to jump in the chat real quick. I can see Giovanna. I'm going to be streaming with her very soon. She's a dear friend of mine, and also a freelance in my studio Printmysoul. I can see Jesus. Jesus, you see why I wasn't getting that phone call? I wasn't ignoring you, I promise. And also can see my mom and my dad. Dude, go to sleep. It's like 1 a.m. in Italy or something. Oh, that's so sweet.
My mom also secretly watches the stream sometimes. She hasn't. She won't tell me what her username is. I think because she doesn't want to make me nervous, but she does. She might be in here now. I'm not sure. I do see a really great question coming from Johanna, saying, how do you balance finding inspiration from other creatives without becoming discouraged by what other creatives are doing in your field?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I love that you asked this, because it's something that I have struggled with for a long time, and something that I've only in the past few years actually come to terms with and figured out how to deal with in a positive way. And that is, for many, many years, the discouraged feeling was very real, in that I didn't want to take feedback from anyone. I didn't want critique from anyone on any of my work. I would see things that other people were doing and think, I wanted to paint like a blue elf in the forest, but somebody else has already done a blue elf in the forest, therefore I guess I can't do that anymore because it's been done. Personally, I think almost everything has been done. But no matter what somebody else has posted and completed before, none of those things are going to have my heart in it, So no matter what I make, it's going to be unique. Even if it resembles something, even if I clearly drew inspiration from something, nothing is going to not be my work that I put love into. And I found that when I got over that and just decided, I love this thing, I want to make this thing, doing that and learning from other designers and what they have done before me has led to me creating very original works, because I try something someone else has done and then I think to myself, oh man, but what if that blue elf in the forest, what if she had a trail of light bugs following her? What if she has what if she's posed for battle? What if she's doing all these things? And I build onto concepts that I already know the world loves, and then I make my own thing. So I would say don't be shy, and go into it with positivity, go into it with the willingness to learn and to just love what you're creating. And I think that you will kind of branch into doing your own thing. And if you do finish something and you find, wow, that's very similar to someone else's work, I would just say inspired by this other art piece, because that's possible exactly to get close, to plagiarism, but just say I was inspired, and I wanted to make art like this. What do you think, Kladi?
So I completely agree exactly to what you're saying. I'm very big in giving shout. I think that is impossible nowadays with the internet and how easy it is. I don't know if you guys, probably some of you know, but my background is not in design at all. I still struggle to consider myself a designer. I come from marketing. I was, studying business and working we were talking about that in the government and completely different things. So I think that, one of the key, what I've learned by my studies before, is that one of the key elements of information is that once you share it, is out there. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is. And that's a rule valid for everyone. So when someone shares something, they know that they're going to somewhat, inspire, or, it's going to land in someone else's eyes, and they'll never be able to take it back. So that's something that is already common knowledge. So don't be afraid of that. What you were saying, VooDoo Val, perhaps I will say that from a different angle, but I think it's pretty much the same, is that you have to validate your own experience and bring part of your word, your experience, your vision, your photo, your own everyday into what you're doing. So even if you're taking inspiration, so for example, I love geometric shapes, and I'm dyslexic, and one of the first things that I've done was doing graffitis, creating like geometric font that was readable for people with dyslexia. And from there, I start to get inspiration from Kandinsky and other painter, which are like, worldwide renowned painter. So how could I use their shape and make them unique? Well, I just started to use their color palette and their composition, but I start to swap everything that was round, square, and everything that was a line, I will do a circle. I just start to create a translation, my own language. So and also the making sure that you give a shout. There is no shame in saying that you've seen that somewhere else. It does happen also. I'm sure it happens to you, it happens to me. I don't mind at all. I feel honored when someone says that it took someone from me, an idea, an artwork. I love it. I feel humbled, and I feel thankful that they took the time to look at my stuff and they find it inspired. And the only thing that it might be a little bit sour when someone just completely non-acknowledge it, that perhaps they've looked. So if you do look, don't be afraid to say, not even thank you, just like, I was looking at that and I got inspired to do something else. And perhaps the same, that the first word that Joanna said was not become discouraged. I used to be very discouraged. Even sometimes I think that I'm not good enough, and I can see so many people that do so much better than me. Probably a few streams ago, I wouldn't be brave enough to stream with you, Val, because I feel that you have so much more years of experience in what you do. And I came to the design world, very, very late in my life. I was doing something completely different. And because of my background, I wasn't allowed to spend time doing what I'm doing now. So it's been a complete fight for me to get here. But, I'm doing more work. I get ready to the streams. I prepare a lot. I experiment a lot. I do a lot of things that I don't like, but maybe I'll do one that I like. And that's how I built a little bit of confidence. And that's why I'm here.
Well, it's crazy that you say that.
Get it done.
I feel like you're such a spectacular person, and it is like mind-blowing to hear you say that about me when I like sort of feel the same way about you. But that should be something that we call attention to, is that you really never know the impact that you will have on people, and that all the more reason to get your art out there and share your passion with other people, you know?
There are so many more people that feel exactly how you feel, and you have no idea. And the only way for you to know it is just by saying it out loud. And I think that that's what brings you together and makes you become part of the community. That's why I love this Adobe community so much.
Same. I want to give a brief update on what I am doing here real quick. I have started kind of combining photo compositing with a little bit of painting, and I took a silhouette of a cyclist with a helmet on who's, you know, kind of resting on his bike, and I'm starting to kind of develop a scene and maybe tell a story with some of these silhouettes, because I've kind of cropped things out, and I've changed the pose of this boy from like a man cycling to a boy kind of resting on his bike and like kind of gesturing with his hand, like, come on guys, you know? So this could be considered one of the boys, you know, kind of here on the bike, because that's something that was like that they did in the show a lot, is they rode their bikes around together. And I'm going to continue to kind of chip into just like kind of forming this string of all of the characters kind of traveling along, and then I will flip it and kind of make it spooky at the bottom and add some textures. I'm also going to, you have so many interesting colors and things going on right now. I would like to switch to your screen a little bit and maybe highlight the wonderful colors that you have going on. Let me hide mine here.
That's
and then
exactly what I'm doing right now. You spotted me. You
Yes.
caught me. You caught me in the act.
Gotcha.
Yes. So if you're using the same template that I've shared with you, you'll see that we have a system of layers here, and one is the layout, and I would strongly advise to put a little lock on it so you'll be able to fully use the color palette. As you can see in the layout, we just have the background, and in the color palette here, this other layer, I've already locked all the little element that create the little Pantone swatch. So the only thing when you click and drag, you'll be able to select are the colors. And well, again, like beautiful color you mentioned, they're not my colors. I was just stealing them from the image. So I was just in the act of stealing some images, and I'm just gonna reply real quick to the chat. I've seen a question before, and hi Shana, nice to see you. I didn't see you before. I heard Val saying hello, but Julia Klarskov was asking, where do you find design inspiration for mood board? Pinterest, design website. So yeah, definitely Pinterest, but also Behance. Even before being part of the Adobe Live community, Behance was definitely a place where I think a lot of professionals share their work. So you can definitely find some very good inspiration, and also depends on what you're looking. So some of these images here are just from Google, but when you look into more different inspiration, that was from Pinterest, that some other people work. So again, depends what sort of topic. But going back to the color palette, I highlighted a theme. So of course the theme is Stranger Things, but there were different kind of scenario. For example, if you go to the what it was called, Scoop Ahoy, the
Scoops
ice cream.
Ahoy, yeah.
So if you go there, you know, the world will change completely, because everything is very, you know, vintagey, black and white and blue with a bit of oranges. So I really wanted to focus on the contrast. I'm a big fan of black background and bold color in contrast. I'm a 90s kid, as you can see from my earrings. I remember I've done perhaps one of the best birthday. I wish my dad can understand English, because I know he's in the chat, and I still wanted to thank them for gifting me that amazing birthday. I had a birthday at the bowling at a bowling place, and I was very much into dance music. I was probably like 11 or something, like between 7 and 11. And I had one tie which was bright pink, and another tie that it was like bright blue, and then some jeans short, and I had my chewing my gum, and with my roller skates and playing bowling. So like that's exactly the memory that brings me by looking all this neon sign. So I feel like I'm 11 again.
That's amazing.
I think I revealed my old age just by talking about all that. But so of course I focused my research on this sort of vibe that I want to communicate, just to keep my design coherent. And as you can see, what I was doing is just click and drag and making a copy of these images here. And I'm gonna unlock the layer so I can show you real quick what I've done. I was clicking on the images, bring it on top by clicking out in order to create a copy so I don't lose them, because I'm very good at losing stuff around my artboards. And while I'm in my, I'm zooming into my palette, all I do is select one of the color palette and then press I to bring in my eyedropper and go and test and find the color that work better together. And this is completely free. I like to create many different color composition because I don't like to get too attached to the color that I pick. I might be able to do something and then at the end, when I'm done with the design, completely recolor it, but at least I have a reference. And as you can see here, I do something that it tends to be monotone, so either all purples and maybe all blues, and something that has got a completely different vibe, so they're a little bit more vintagey color, darker, and then a little bit more pastel, and then a full fluo sort of palette. So I keep my option open, and then because I create a copy, I can just click and delete the image once I'm done. Then to be able to use them to make those palette available, all I do is to click and select of the group of colors. So I think this is the last one that I didn't put in my swatches. So I click and drag in order to select it all, and then click on this little new color group here in order to create a color group that contains that color. So I'll be able to use it for my strokes and for my fill without using the eyedropper, because if we do use the eyedropper, remember, we pick up not only the color but also all the rest of the appearance, and we just want to make sure that we have an instance where we have the color available for us in our swatches.
Wonderful. That is so cool. That's so useful. I'm gonna switch back over here. I've started to kind of make these, like, I've really edited these silhouettes to seriously look more like some of the characters. So I did, like I said, this first one where I made this look like this kid is like kind of calling all his friends, and then I edited this one to look more like a girl kind of following them, and this one was like a cyclist with his head down, kind of like putting pedal to the metal a little bit, like he was like trucking down the street, but I've kind of changed his posture, and I've removed the helmet, and I've added like Shaggy Boy's hair. And then for this one, I'm actually going to add, I thought one of the kids' bikes had like that long bar on the back of it. I thought at one point in the show, by the seat. So I've like adding that to the silhouette, and then I will also add hair to him. So kind of like doing a little bit of painting along with compositing a little bit, which is not something I usually do. I would also love to know if anyone in the chat maybe has any suggestions for something that you might like to see me add. I have like this, and I'm kind of having the kids like kind of go through on their bikes and things, but I would also like to know, like, when I flip it, I was thinking about having like uneven earth, like dirt, and then just having like the tires and wheels kind of sticking out of the ground. But I would love to know if any of you have any ideas for it, because I mean, you could also add like the Demigorgon and all of that
Ooh.
stuff. But I'm not sure what would be like the most popular thing. So that's up to you, chat. I will leave that decision up to you. You folks let me know what you think would be most appropriate for the postcard. And then tomorrow will probably be when I start adding a lot of color and start getting the kind of doing like the outline that's more like true to the Stranger Things title from the show, and all of that. So let me know. I'm gonna keep on kind of making.
Yeah, give us some ideas as well. We're just starting, but again, as you can see, I was focusing here on the neon. I'm building it slowly with the blur effect. I try to zoom in because I can see that my screen was smaller than usual, so I think that like that is much better. I need to get used to this format. And before I get started and talk a little bit more about using the blur for this technique, I wanted to reply to Tunk and this message where he asked if I'm thinking of doing graffiti again those days. So probably the last paid graffiti job that I've done was for the Brazil football. Oh my God, I'm so bad with football. What is it called? The World Cup? That was in Brazil. I don't remember. It was like a few years ago. But I actually went to Brazil and I painted on, tell the Brazil, I think it was 2016, could it be possible? That was my last graffiti paid job. Then I simply didn't have time to do it, although certain local businesses asked me to paint some plants. At the moment, it's something that I still do in my private time. It's not that easy to find legal walls. So Manchester is a great place. That's where I'm based. Is a great place where you can have the opportunity to paint in a bar or in a coffee shop. You have many different amazing places where you can actually find a legal wall or a legal piece of wood. Otherwise, think the bigger issue here is with the location, because I run a business. I've done my masked graffiti, running around with the cans. I don't have the age anymore. I'm not as fit anymore. The spray can, they're still out here. I mean, I'll probably post the story on my Instagram. I have still my favorite colors, very bold color, 90 colors there. I just don't have walls, and if I start to painting my house walls, it's gonna be a mess. So yeah, let me know if anyone in the UK has a free legal wall that I can paint. I'll jump on it. I'm ready. My hands are always itching for painting, and I never class myself as a graffiti artist because there is a lot of talk about street art, graffiti, and all of that. So I just like to say that I like to use the canvas and the wall as a canvas, and is a place where I feel very comfortable, because I feel that I'm professional, and that gives me the chance to feel a little bit more relaxed. So I don't know if there is any other Balder, you would love to see those work. Oh my gosh, actually I'll probably do it like tonight for 12 hours, just for those of you, maybe not even 12 hours, just like while I sleep. I have a folder on my Behance that is hidden, and that's got all my graffiti words, and they're not really good pictures because, again, like, I was out in the street with my friends, crazy times, and running out. Hi Alex, nice to see you here. And they're not the best photos, and I also hide it because sometimes they scare my clients, because they like to see me very nice and professional, and that can be a little bit scary. But I will open that folder and make it public just for tonight.
Yeah,
and
I
tomorrow,
would love
as soon
that.
as I wake up, I'm gonna hide it again.
That would
but
be
I
awesome.
do a lot of gardens. Let me see if I can pull out some of this photo here. Let's see.
Also, I would like to point out we have maybe 5 or 6 minutes left. I can't believe it.
What?
Yeah, we are
barely
coming
done
up.
a thing.
I know, but that's why we have 2 days.
Oh my gosh, I'm used to blab too much.
Okay, now I need.
So I think I found something here. So see, those are some rough photo. I do a lot of gardens. I don't know if y'all can see.
Oh yeah,
this
here I
little
can full
preview.
screen so everyone can see.
So my name is Juicy, and as you can see, I love bold colors, and I do a lot of gardens. This is a more, there are a lot of those. See all my bags full of cans of paint, and does a little bit of type as well. As you can see, the photo are really bad quality, because that's, of course, that's again, there was a lot of typefaces going on, and this also turned into an actual t-shirt. Oh my gosh, my very first logo. That was my very first Printmysoul logo. That someone told me that looked like Print My Evil. So as soon as I had that feedback, I didn't even like question it once. I changed my logo straight away.
I didn't even see that until you said it, but now I can't unsee it.
Yes. So here they are. As you can see, they evolve. I used to do a lot of foxes as well, and this is the typeface that I was talking about. So this very bold, chunky typeface, which then became, I actually done a full, this is my friend Hailey. She's a lovely person. She's done one of the biggest graffiti here in Manchester. I think she's done the tallest graffiti in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, she has, go and check her out. She works with her partner in life and in crime. They're called Nomad Clan. Let me
I love that.
Find them on Instagram here. I can't believe the time is finished. I've barely done my title.
I know. I feel the same way, but sometimes when we get to talking on this show, especially when people are asking such wonderful questions, it's really easy to let the time get away from you. Which is the best postcard you have received that has impressed you? I don't know. I don't really get a lot of postcards, but I feel like I want to receive more postcards.
Oh, and I don't know if you can actually see here all my, oh no, I for a second I was worried that you could see all my notification here. For some reason they came out. It looks like you cannot see them. That's fantastic. Sorry, I'm just looking at too many screens at the same time. As long as you guys cannot see them, that's fine. They're just a lot of old alarms and updates as usual. But yeah, I pulled up on screen Nomad Clan. So are those amazing girls here that produce these fantastic graffiti works. They're also doing a lot of sculpture, but they do amazing work. So go and check them out. C Blocks and Isle Nomad. They are also director of a festival here, but they do fantastic wall cards. So again, that's another way of finding inspiration, by talking with people and getting to know their friends and their people, because if they're in the industry, chances are, that they also spend times look at other creative work. So and also Instagram is a great place to find inspiration, I think.
Steve is wondering if the design off segment got shrunk. Nope, it's always been an hour. And we are coming up on maybe 3 minutes left here, or 2 minutes left. That's wild to me. But I feel like I've got like kind of the idea for what I want. So tomorrow I can really come in and add some good details and everything and make this look really creepy. I have like the kids in here. I mean, they don't necessarily 100%, let me switch over here. They don't 100% look like all of them, but I'm trying to do like Mike, Dustin, Will, Max, and 11. And they're just kind of all got their bikes and they're riding across. I want to add some more elements like to the top part, and then tomorrow I will flip it, make it look gritty, and then add some good texture and do some painting in the back to make it look spooky. And that's what I have. It's greetings from the upside down, Alberto. So I'm very excited for it. And then maybe for a minute or so, we can do like a little recap of yours, Kladi. Just kind of look at the
of what I have not done.
What you've done. No, I like it. I think you've done a lot of experimenting with the text. I just threw the text in there and didn't touch it again. So
yes, I was trying to add some gradients here, but I'll probably finish off tomorrow. Right now, I'm just gonna add these other little quick touch here. And as you can see, that's a very different way of working. As I said, I usually jump in and straight away work with outline text. Ooh, we got something. Let's see, we got something.
Yeah.
We got something that looks like something. So usually I make sure that I outline my text, but just to recap it and bring it to the top real quick, I shared all these Illustrator templates with a lot of mood boards, and I really focused in creating the color palette in order to use them for my text. You will also be able to find this free font, which is very similar to the ITC Benguiat, and actually I found out Benguiat is the name of the person who's done the original font.
Wonderful.
And I experimented with this line and blur. So what I've done, I created 7 different variations of the font, and because usually Illustrator, it doesn't handle rastering and blurring as good as Photoshop, I created variation from 3 to 10 point of blur, and then I layered them up and I put on top just a lighter outline.
I hate to cut you off, Kladi, but we do have to go or we're gonna get cut off. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know. But thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Kladi, for being with me here today. It's been a blast. And we will see you tomorrow at the same time, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.